The story begins in front of a shopping mall, when a woman is seen walking out with her little daughter. After only a few steps, she realizes that her phone has been left inside. She then asks her daughter to wait outside for a moment while she goes back in. Without being noticed, from a distance a man named Cyrus, the leader of a large gang that dominates the city's criminal underworld, is watching them. As soon as the mother disappears into the mall, the little girl immediately becomes a target. Cyrus's men approach and kidnap her without leaving a trace. Time goes by. The little girl grows into an adult woman known as Case. Her body is covered with tattoos, a sign that she has long lived within the circle of the criminal world. Although she appears tough on the outside, her heart is still haunted by the shadows of the past and wounds that never healed. Meanwhile, on the other side of the city, a girl named Emma is in her room. She is restless after hearing the commotion downstairs, a heated argument between her mother and stepfather.
You say shit I can't come back with, I hate you, motherfucker. I hate you, shit like you.
In that anxiety, the phone suddenly rings. Her biological father, Bob, an intelligence agent who has long worked in the world of espionage, calls her. Hearing her father's voice instantly calms Emma. She misses him deeply, and always feels stronger whenever she hears his voice. Bob reassures her, then promises to pick her up the next day to attend a party. He confidently says that they will see each other soon, making Emma smile happily again. With a lighter heart, Emma goes downstairs intending to calm her mother. But her steps freeze at a shocking sight. In the living room, Cyrus is already standing there with his entire group. Her mother immediately realizes the great danger. At that moment, her new husband, Emma's stepfather, has already been captured. Panicked, her mother tries to escape. She runs as fast as she can until she reaches a bridge, but Cyrus's men chase her down. Without mercy, they shoot her until her body falls into the river. The next day, Bob arrives at his ex-wife's house with a colleague. He rings the bell repeatedly, but no one answers. Suspicion quickly rises, making him break down the door. The first thing he sees is the lifeless body of his ex-wife's new husband. Panicked, Bob rushes through every room, hoping to find Emma. But she is nowhere to be found. When he looks toward the bridge, his eyes catch sight of red on the river's surface. He approaches, and his heart shatters when he finds his ex-wife's corpse lying stiff.
Gabby?
Though devastated by the loss, Bob clings to one thought: he does not know whether Emma is still alive or has met the same fate. His determination to find his daughter grows stronger. A few days later, the funeral for his ex-wife and her new husband is held. Bob attends, but his mind is consumed by anxiety. He still has no idea who was behind the attack, what their purpose was, or where Emma was taken. The only thing clear to him is his resolve: he must find the answers, even without a shred of evidence. Some time later, Bob returns home and finds a woman standing at his door. The woman is Case. Without hesitation, she says that she knows who the people Bob has been looking for are, and she can take him directly to them. Bob lets her in and begins to ask more questions. Case then reveals that the leader of the group is named Cyrus, a big crime boss who controls almost the entire criminal network of the city. He leads a gang with many members, most of them young people trapped through dangerous drugs so that they submit and follow all his orders. Bob wonders how Case knows all this. Case explains that she was once part of that group, so she knows Cyrus very well. Hearing this confession, Bob is shocked and worried. He asks whether Case truly intends to fight the gang that once raised her, knowing full well how ruthless Cyrus is. Bob then shows several photos of murder victims. He is certain they are all Cyrus's doing, because the killings were extremely brutal. Bob questions why that man would massacre so many people without mercy. Case answers that Cyrus and everyone in his gang are Satan worshippers. They are willing to do anything for that dark belief. Bob asks if Case was ever involved in that worship. Case firmly says no, because she left the gang long ago. The story then flashes back to when Case decided to leave Cyrus's group. At that time, she was brutally beaten until she was nearly killed.
I said I'm leaving.
But a man named Ferryman, also part of the gang, fired a shot into the air and ordered them to stop.
What about you, bitch? You wanna try me again?
Thanks to his help, Case managed to escape, though she still lived in fear. She distanced herself from the group, but deep down Bob believes that someday Case would return, and sure enough, now she comes offering help. Bob then asks why Case wants to help him. Case explains that there is still a chance that Bob's daughter, Emma, is alive. She does not want the girl to suffer the same fate as her. Hearing this, the desperate Bob is willing to do anything. He agrees to cooperate.
I know that. But you gotta hear me on this, okay?
Go on.
Okay, good. Because you and me are going on the road.
They leave by car, and Case says she will take Bob to every place where Cyrus operates. During the journey, Bob's instincts as a spy keep him alert. He warns Case that if this is a trick, he will not hesitate to shoot her in the head. Case calms him and begins to share her past. She says she was kidnapped by Cyrus at the age of 11. Since then, she was forced to live a life of suffering beyond words. She has seen horrors worse than hell with her own eyes. That is why, if she can save even one girl from that life, she will do it without hesitation. To her, Emma is now on the same path, and she wants to stop it. Hearing this, Bob starts to trust Case. Soon they arrive at Ferryman's place. He is shocked yet happy to see Case again. Case introduces him to Bob and explains their plan.
Get over there.
Oh, that's Bob. Bob, imagine if I showed up at your little church. Look, about to show up to a whole different type of church, my church.
To get close to Cyrus, they must first infiltrate his gang. But it is not easy, because all members are Satan worshippers living in a church. To enter, someone must have special tattoos like those of Case and Ferryman. Bob eventually agrees. Ferryman begins tattooing his body, covering his skin with various symbols. But Case feels it is not enough. She takes the tattoo tool and personally marks Bob's face to make it convincing.
In those dick shop windows, it has.
Oh, you're not making poor motherfuckers for the coins, are you?
Afterward, she says that Ferryman is a tattoo artist, so his services must be paid. Bob hands over money as payment.
That's the deal.
Wait here, okay?
Before they leave, Case asks Ferryman for information about Cyrus's territories. Bob tries to stop her, knowing how dangerous that man is. He is sure that if Case dares to fight, Cyrus will never let her live. But Case insists, saying this job must be done because it involves an innocent girl's life. Finally, Ferryman gives in and agrees to help. He tells them that Emma is still alive, and she is being held at a place called Red Patrol. That information is enough for them to take the next big step. On the next journey, Bob asks Case when she realized she had to leave the gang after so many years living in it. Case then tells him about an experience she will never forget. One day, when she was at a supermarket, she saw a woman she believed was her mother. Filled with hope, she approached her, but instead of a warm hug, the woman screamed angrily because of her filthy and ruined appearance. At that moment, Case realized that people like her were truly seen as wrong, and no decent person would want to come near.
Mama?
Stop! You mind your fucking business, you fat fucking cunt!
From that bitter experience, she decided to leave the gang. Hearing the story, Bob offered to help her find her parents. But Case firmly refused. According to her, if her parents truly cared, they would have searched for her long ago, but in reality no one ever came. Case added that unlike her, Bob truly cares about his child and is willing to do anything to find her.
It didn't even look like her. You know, when she stopped looking, like, what the fuck happened?
Their journey continues until they arrive at a large club. Inside, Case immediately approaches a man named Errol. She pretends to start a conversation, saying that she has always wanted to meet him. Errol watches Case suspiciously, then checks her arm, making sure whether she is still using drugs. He finds a fresh injection mark and feels pleased, believing that Case is really high and not trying to trick him. From a distance, Bob watches with doubt. He thinks a girl who is high cannot possibly help him. In his heart, he begins to think that maybe Case is only using him for her own benefit. Bob then decides to leave her behind. But Case quickly realizes it and rushes after him, asking what is wrong. Bob insists that he does not want to work with an addict. Case then shouts emotionally, explaining that she is not using drugs at all. She injected herself only to trick Errol, because she knew Errol would never want to talk to her if she was sober.
You wanna fucking know what's going on, huh? Powder? Vitamin C. Looks bad, scabs up nice.
Hearing that, Bob realizes that Case is actually clear-headed and only trying to help. He apologizes and asks what information she managed to get from Errol. Case explains that Errol plans to meet Cyrus that day, and they only need to follow him. They waited patiently. When Errol came out, Bob asked Case to follow him alone. According to Bob, if he followed himself, Errol would surely be suspicious and would not meet Cyrus. He convinced Case to trust him and promised to find him again later. Case finally agreed and began tailing Errol. But after walking quite far, Errol's men immediately captured Case.
What about the guns?
Don't worry about it. Hello, sheep.
From the start, they had already been suspicious of his presence and were sure that his plan was not right. They then brought him before Cyrus. Upon arriving there, Cyrus immediately interrogated Case. He asked why he was following his men and what he actually wanted. Case lied, saying that he wanted to rejoin the gang. But Cyrus did not easily believe him. He laughed cynically and emphasized that he was not that stupid. He kept forcing Case to reveal the truth. When Case remained silent, he was brutally beaten.
Well, well. Hello.
I want to come home.
Even under pressure, Case insisted on saying that he only wanted to rejoin. Finally, Cyrus calmed down a little and asked if Case truly wanted to return. When Case said yes, Cyrus handed him a pistol and explained that in his gang there was no place for traitors. He said that Errol was a traitor who had been stealing from him for a long time. Cyrus had actually planned to kill Errol that day, but now he gave Case the chance to prove himself by shooting Errol in the head. If he succeeded, then he would be accepted back into the gang. Case took the pistol and stepped forward. He challenged Errol for a moment, then thought, but instead tried to shoot himself. It turned out the pistol was empty and had no bullets. The trigger did not fire, making Cyrus burst into laughter at such foolishness. Meanwhile, Bob kept searching for Case everywhere until finally he saw a man wearing Case's clothes. Without thinking, Bob immediately caught the man, threatened him, and forced him to reveal Case's location. The man gave in and led him to Cyrus. There, Cyrus and his men seemed ready to kill Case. But before they could do it, Bob came attacking with his weapon. He fired repeatedly and managed to kill many people. Even though Bob was shot in the leg, he still fought back and took down the remaining enemies. After that, he managed to save Case and took the girl away from the place. They then arrived at a motel to rest. There, Case thanked him for saving her life. But Bob looked deeply shaken emotionally. He finally admitted that no matter what, he had to save his daughter. He also confessed that when his ex-wife and her husband were killed, deep inside he actually felt a little relieved. That was because he had never liked them, especially his ex-wife, since the day she left him. After revealing something so heavy, Bob cried. Case tried to comfort him by saying that everything would be fine and that they would surely find his daughter soon.
Don't beat yourself up.
The next day, they went out. As Bob was about to get into his car, he saw one of Cyrus's men, covered in tattoos, standing in front of him. When Bob looked down, he saw a venomous snake placed by the man. The snake immediately bit Bob. Bob, in pain, staggered outside with the snake still clinging to him. Case, seeing this, quickly killed the snake. They then captured Cyrus's man and kept pressuring him to reveal Cyrus's location. But when he refused to speak, Case killed him.
Bob, you gotta tell us.
Get the cunt.
The snake venom slowly spread through Bob's body until he collapsed unconscious. Case carried Bob and brought him to a shaman known as Ferryman. Ferryman immediately extracted the venom from Bob's body. When Bob woke up, he saw Ferryman in front of him. Bob asked how long he had been there, and Ferryman answered that he had been lying there for 2 days and the treatment was still ongoing. But he reassured Bob by saying that he would fix everything. He had already summoned a woman named Mia who worked for Cyrus. Through Mia, Bob could speak directly with Cyrus. Soon Mia arrived. They waited until Cyrus called Mia. Once the call came in, Mia delivered the message that they had a girl named Emma and wanted her at any cost. If Emma was handed over, then they would leave Cyrus alone. Cyrus was silent for a moment before answering that he never made deals for free. If they wanted Emma, then they had to do something for him. He said that Errol had stolen his money, but now Errol had become very powerful and was living in a villa where he kept all that money. Cyrus emphasized that if they could take back the money, then Emma would be handed over. After saying that, Cyrus ended the call.
Get my money from Errol.
What money?
I don't know, your lives, I guess.
Bob and Case began planning. They knew that reaching Errol's villa would not be easy since it was a hub for drug transactions. But if they came bringing drugs, they could get in. They then told Errol that they had a large quantity of drugs. They carried a bag with a hidden pistol inside, then went to Errol's house.
Let's do this.
Time to get
Eggs down.
As soon as Errol appeared, they attacked, killing everyone one by one until bodies piled up everywhere.
Wait for it right now.
All of Errol's men were dead. Errol himself tried to escape with a gunshot wound to his leg but fell near a bridge. Terrified, he begged for his life and offered all his money. But Bob, now without mercy, shot him. They then took all the money. The next day, they arrived at Cyrus's place. Cyrus looked pleased to see them and praised Case, even asking her to rejoin his group. Cyrus promised to hand over Emma afterward. But hearing that, Bob grew angry and immediately shot Cyrus.
Get the fuck away from me! Fucking ass, bitch! No one's getting...
Cyrus only laughed and asked about his money. Bob handed over the money, but Cyrus saw it was only half. He then asked where the rest was. Bob calmly replied that he was not that stupid and would only hand over the rest after he got his daughter. Cyrus thought for a moment and then said that they should go west until they reached a mountain. Beyond the mountain, there would be a man. Give the rest of the money to him, and Emma would be delivered. They went. Along the way, Case suggested that Bob join her group to live peacefully, but Bob refused and considered it insane. When they reached beyond the mountain, they saw a man with a van. As soon as Bob showed the money, the man immediately brought Emma out of the van, then drove away with it. Bob rushed to Emma and saw her face covered with tattoos. Her condition was so terrible that Bob cried seeing her.
Throw the fucking money over.
Not long after the van left, fireworks were set off. Case quickly explained that they did not have much time because the fireworks were a signal for Cyrus to bring his forces and kill them.
go. I have to get out of here.
She knew where they had to go. They then drove and arrived at a location as night fell. Case stressed that there were only two choices: kill all the enemies or be killed by them. Bob was now ready to kill anyone. He first brought Emma to a safe place, gave her a weapon, and instructed her to shoot anyone who approached except himself and Case.
Very bad pizza, then you pull it.
Bob then poured gasoline around the area so that no one would realize it was a trap. Once Cyrus's cars arrived, Bob planned to blow everything up. Moments later, Cyrus's cars filled with men began arriving. Once they entered the area, Bob immediately lit the fire. The cars exploded one by one. But many of Cyrus's men were still left. They attacked, and Bob started shooting them down one by one. Meanwhile, Case stood with a sniper rifle, shooting anyone who managed to escape Bob. The atmosphere turned into a massacre with corpses and screams everywhere. Meanwhile, one man managed to reach Emma. But Emma, already prepared by her father, shot him. After that, another massive explosion occurred and the situation calmed down. When it was over, Emma came out and saw her father severely wounded. She then lifted Bob and brought him to the police station. Bob received medical treatment. Some time later, after recovering, Bob saw Case at the police station. He thanked her because thanks to her he managed to get his daughter back. Bob then said that he wanted Case to start a new life. He even revealed that he had found the whereabouts of Case's mother. Since Case disappeared, her mother had long been trying to find her. But since she never succeeded, she finally accepted the reality that Case was no longer part of her life and chose to move on. Bob gave Case her mother's address and phone number. But Case refused, saying that everything was not over for her. As long as Cyrus was still alive, she could not leave this world because he had ruined her life. She told Bob to enjoy life with his daughter, while she had to finish her last task. After that, Case began searching for Cyrus's whereabouts. Not long after, she found him and shot him dead. Thus, Case's revenge was fulfilled.
Sit down. You're crossing over.
After that, she went to her mother's house. She saw that her mother was now old and had remarried, living happily with her husband. Seeing this, Case cried, realizing that her mother no longer needed her in her life. She then left the place. With that, the film ended. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy, hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice just to be sure. You should watch the full movie. Thank you very much for watching.